Hey, Brandon, welcome back.
Hi, Brett.
We had talked, we've been talking a lot about some of the issues that you've been facing. Um, what do you want to talk about this week?
I don't know. I got in that big fight last week with my wife, and that didn't make things well. Everything just kind of went downhill from there. And my mom started calling me and bothering me about it. I don't know what to tell her. I don't know. It's just all so overwhelming.
Okay. What what seems to be the biggest thing that's bothering you as you're sitting here today? What would you like to work on today?
Well, I have to say it'd have to be either with my wife or with my mom, because I think the two kind of work together, and one's never happy if the other one is.
Okay.
So
Well, you talked a lot about your mom and about your wife separately, and we talked a lot about um, how they both affect you emotionally. Why don't we talk a little bit about what you what you're really hoping for? What's the best case scenario when you think about it for the three of you?
I think it would be I think it would be my mom and my wife respected me.
Okay, all right. And just to be clear, you don't think either one of them respect you right now?
I don't think I'm getting the respect I should be getting.
Okay. Now, from your mom's point of view, we talked a lot about in past sessions about your relationship with her and it being an extremely challenging one for you. Why, as a 27-year-old man, why is this relationship so important to you as a married man? Why is the respect from your mother so important to you?
Because maybe because I feel like I still need her approval,
Okay. All right.
and it kind of gets in the way of me doing things. In fact, if I can't have her approval, I don't know who else I'm going to get it from.
Okay. What what does respect look like to you from a relationship with your mother? What would that mean?
Well, like my mom treating me like an adult,
Okay.
not calling me fat, and not being so bossy with me.
Okay. Okay. Now, with regards to your wife, I know you guys just got married a couple weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
um, in a rather impulsive fashion. Um, what what does respect look like from your wife?
Well, I got a job where, I'm at work, and when I get home, I'm tired from working, and I just want to, come home like a clean house, and she doesn't work.
Okay.
Why can't she clean?
Okay. That's a fair question. Have you talked to her about that?
Not so much. I try to, but I try to build up the courage to do it, and then when I think I'm going to do it, I kind of turn away and not do it.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Do you feel like do you feel like you've done enough to earn their respect? Do you think you deserve their respect?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Because in the past we've talked about your issues with self-esteem, and I was just wondering if you yourself have thought you that you deserve it.
No, wait. I thought that, if you're like having problems, yeah, I have self-esteem problems, but I mean, your mom should shit on you about that, she should try to help you out.
Okay.
And that's what parents do, and kids have problems, and it's like anytime I feel like I can ask the courage for that, then she shuts me down, and I go, well, you're fat, and you're never going to do anything with your life.
Well, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's really hard. Especially from your point of view. What would you, if she were here right now, what would you like to say?
I think I would just say something like along the lines of, hey mom, I'm growing up now. Why do you have to talk so mean to me, and why do you have to drag me down when I haven't said anything to you like that? And why can't you respect that I'm married now? And why can't you, stay out of my business all the time? I don't mind my mom getting in my business sometimes, but she's like not all the time.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Have you ever said anything like that to her before?
No, I don't feel like I can.
Okay.
She's always, it's like if I try to say something to her, she automatically just shuts me down. And no, I think what happened was after a while, I just, like, why keep trying? I'm trying to keep you shut down.
Okay.
Why should I keep trying?
Well, that's a good question.
Because she's my mother.
Right.
And I don't understand how a mother could treat their child like that. I've just been asking for respect and some recognition of being a decent person, and I've never gotten it from her.
Okay.
Maybe I'm stupid for keeping looking for it, but I don't think it's ridiculous to try to ask for that.
Well, first of all, I don't think in any way that you're stupid. You're someone who has deep feelings about this issue, and I think it's really important to you. But at some point, we're going to have to examine the possibility that you're not going to get what you want from her. So then the question becomes, are you okay with that? Can you be okay with that?
Excuse me. I don't know. Obviously not. I've been dealing with this shit for years. It's just the same thing over and over again. Like I'm constantly trying to, hey mom, look at me.
Right.
Aren't you proud of me or whatever? And then she turns around and says something nasty, and I guess, that doesn't sound too much like a Hallmark card, but hey, I would just like if she would love me as a child. And she doesn't do that. And she did that for so long when I was growing up that, I don't even feel like, I like other people can see me as a real person.
Is it fair to say you've had a dysfunctional relationship for your whole life with your mom?
Probably, yeah.
Has there ever been any times where you felt that you were loved and accepted?
I think even in bad relationships, sometimes there's a sprinkling of good stuff every once in a while, but nothing that like you would look at and go, wow, she was really expressing some positive emotion at you.
Okay.
Not really. It was just more like, I don't know, word service or whatever. So
what would you like to happen? What can we work towards?
with my mom,
With either one of them, your mom or your wife.
I would like to be recognized as a human being, and not as just like some piece of trash.
Okay. Well, that's a goal. Let's talk a little bit about what you can do. What have you done? Have you written any letters? Have you sat down? How have you communicated this with either one of them?
I haven't wrote any letters because they both live pretty close.
Right. Sometimes it's easier to write the words down rather than say the words, especially for, we've been talking for quite a while. And you have a difficulty sometimes with confrontation.
Yeah, that's probably why it hasn't happened.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about, instead of focusing on what hasn't happened, let's start focusing a little bit more on what can happen.
Okay.
Do you think you could sit down and maybe write your thoughts out? I mean, even if we don't give it to them, do you think you can maybe sit down and write your thoughts out, and we can take a look at it and sort of go over it and see what you feel about that after someone else reads it?
Yeah, I guess. But I don't know what good that's gonna do.
Well, the idea is to get it out on the paper, first of all. Second of all, by sharing it with someone, you're sharing the burden. And then by the third point is if you become more comfortable with the idea of sharing these ideas, maybe at some point in the future, we can share them with the people that really need to see them. Is that something you think you might be comfortable with doing?
I guess I could try.
Good. Very good. Okay. Now, how about your wife? You had a very rocky relationship, and we were talking in previous sessions about the possibility of you not wanting to be with her long term when she was your girlfriend a few weeks ago, and then you impulsively stated one day in session that you were going to get married the following week. So I'm kind of curious, how is that decision working out?
Well, me, I've never been married before. It's all new to me.
Okay.
So there's arguing, and I don't know. Maybe I was like, worried about being alone, and maybe that's why I did it. Sometimes I don't even know.
You don't know why you got married?
Sometimes I don't know if it's because I'm angry at the moment or just don't know,
And that's okay. But let's try and focus on your relationship with your wife and the fact that you feel that, more importantly, she doesn't respect you.
Yeah, I seem to have a lot of that with the women in my life. They don't seem to respect me.
In which ways does she show you that she doesn't respect you?
She doesn't clean when I'm at work. She doesn't always cook. We had that thing, remember whenever we're both coming in for therapy, and then she decided that she didn't want to continue going. I was like it was so hard for me to try to show incentive to do that, and then I did it. And she just crapped all over me on it, and when you get home from work, and this is cleaned up in the house, and shit is made.
And so you take all those things as signs of disrespect.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Have you discussed those things with her?
I tried to, but then she starts bitching. And as soon as that comes up, it's like a fence.
What specifically does she bitch about?
She'll say things like, "You gotta tell me what to do, and don't treat me like that. You're not my father." And you understand, I'm trying to be her father, but
right.
At the same time, if she was working and I was at home, she damn well wanted me to clean up the house and have dinner cooking when she got home. And so it seems that it's okay for her to make those demands of me, but if I would make those demands of her, I would be some sort of sexist pig or something.
Okay. So when you have these disagreements, Do they become loud?
Sometimes they do.
Okay.
Depends on like how tired I am. And it depends on if I have enough energy to just do it. So, I'm perfectly honest. Sometimes it's just times where I feel myself starting to get worked up and I'll start arguing and I just don't feel like it anymore. It's just like it's not even worth it. What am I getting by arguing with her? Nothing. I
Okay.
was like, well, why continue doing that? I can go be pissed off at myself or whatever, and get nothing.
Right.
Why do I want to do that with her?
Well, sometimes we fall into a trap of what I like to call sort of a woe is me syndrome. And we tend to see all these outside influences lining up against us.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I have talked about in the past some of your thoughts about that.
Mm-hmm.
My question for you is pretty straightforward. What have you done specifically to make your life better?
Well, I started working.
Okay, good.
What else have I done? I try to fight less with my wife.
Okay, good.
And sometimes, not regularly, I admit, but sometimes if I get frustrated enough whenever I get home and I see something's not done,
Mm-hmm.
I've actually started doing things like, getting home and the bathroom's not clean, and there's something inside me that's like, you know what? I'm just gonna clean this bathroom.
Good.
And then I clean the bathroom, and I'm okay. Then I step out, and there's the rest of everything.
Sure.
So.
That must be frustrating.
It is.
Okay. Well, those are all good things. With your sort of desire not to have conflict,
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's possible that maybe you're projecting an image out there to your wife or your mother, but more specifically your wife, that you're willing just to accept whatever happens?
I don't think I'm projecting anything on my mom because I got plenty of experience in her doing that shit. So I don't think that, I don't think that's me projecting in that sense. However, sometimes I think with the wife that it's just, maybe it's like the same shit over and over again.
Okay. Well, we've talked a lot over the past few months about your issues and some of the things. I'd like to take this therapy to a different stage.
Okay.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I think sometimes you accept things, the negative things in relationships, and it's almost as if you expect them to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'd like to concentrate on going forward are steps you can take to take more responsibility for your own happiness. As you said, you kind of do this, you sort of do that, depending on the circumstance, depending how you feel. But the old axiom says, no one else can make you happy but yourself. And it seems to me as though you're trying to depend on a lot of other people to increase your happiness.
Well, I mean, what's the point of being married if you're not going to have a relationship? You can't be happy.
Well, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. But at the same time, we have to take responsibility for our own actions.
So what am I supposed to do?
Well, that's why we're here. We're going to try and figure that out. We're going to try and figure out some ways for you to relieve some stress, and some of the ideas of sort of negativity. Focus more on taking more control over the situation rather than just accepting certain things as they are. You mentioned to me on several occasions, you resent your mom for talking to you negatively about your weight. And you've spoken to me in the past that you wish that, you could be more in shape so that you could go out and enjoy more things. So what if you were to start just taking some walks at night, just by yourself for 15 or 20 minutes? And I'm not saying every night. I'm not saying go 4 or 5 miles. I'm saying, 15 minutes a night to start with, maybe 2 or 3 nights a week.
I don't know, would that actually do something?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Plus, it would give you time to sort of, if you're having an issue or with work or with your mom or with your wife, it'll give you a chance to kind of get away from things for 15 or 20 minutes. No cell phones. Just you, your thoughts, and sort of getting out there and getting some more physical exercise.
I can't do running. Running kills my knees.
Yeah, that's fine. No one said anything about running. All I'm talking about is just pick a direction and walk for 15 minutes. Is that something you think you could do?
Yeah. I'll have to look at my work schedule and see what my wife thinks about it.
Well, I think this is something that you need to do for yourself. And I think this is something you need to also be able to show your wife. Because numerous times you've talked to me about the fact that you wish she wasn't so overweight. So maybe if you take the lead and you set the example, then maybe she'll follow. And it's something you guys could end up starting to like and do together.
I'm not gonna. I can see myself doing that. I don't know about her though.
And that's fine.
All I've seen is, people just shit on me, so I'm not going to expect anything big out of it.
Okay, and that's fine. But if we take the attitude of you wanting to take more control over your own life, which is something you've said in the past that you want to do, and that you were tired of people treating you poorly and you were tired of certain situations, well, this is just a very small step. Something like this. This is just something that will allow you to feel a little bit better about yourself every day. And then it becomes a habit. And once it becomes a habit, then it's something you do without even thinking about it.
So I don't have to ask her about it?
No, absolutely not. This is something for you.
And what if she gives me shit about it?
If she wants to talk to you about it, just tell her the truth. Say, hey, this is something I need to do for myself. There's nothing wrong with doing things for yourself, to improve yourself. What do you feel as though other parts of your life, do you think, for instance, when you come home and the apartment's a mess, give me a scenario. You walk in, you see the apartment's a mess. As you've said numerous times, your wife is sitting there on the couch watching TV. What's the first thing you say or do when you walk in?
No. I'll look around. And I'll see the mess, and it's like, did you do anything while I was gone?
Okay. Is that from a feeling of frustration? Is that from a feeling of being overwhelmed? What's it from?
Both. And it's just like, say that. It's just like, it's none of your goddamn business.
Okay.
It is not my goddamn business. I live here.
Okay.
I work. And you sit on your butt and don't do anything.
Okay. So, what would it be like if you just came in and you saw the mess, and because this is your environment too, What do you think it would look like if you just started to clean?
I know exactly what would happen if I did that.
Mhm.
It's one of the reasons I don't take incentive anymore. I go ahead and start cleaning, and the other person's like, "Oh look, he's doing the cleaning. Guess what? I'm gonna sit on my ass and just keep doing nothing."
Okay.
It's the same thing that mom does. That's the same thing she's starting to do.
Okay.
And so it's like it's like yeah, you have something clean, then after you do it, but if no one else is willing to help you and they live there with you, what's the fucking point?
Well, because this is your environment too, and if it's messy, it seems to be causing you a lot of stress.
It is, and that's if they keep fucking it up. What's almost the point of even doing that? I once in a while do that shit, and then it's a mess again, and no one. It's like nothing ever happened.
Right.
But
And it's hard.
it's futile, It's just like
It can absolutely feel that way. But we're talking about you. We're talking about you and the way you feel. So, what do you think? Do you think you'd feel better in a cleaner apartment?
I think anyone would feel better in a cleaner apartment.
Well, we're talking.
I mean, would you live in a place where there's just tons of shit everywhere?
Well, we're not talking about you.
I'm saying anyone though.
Well,
Anyone, it's.
For some people, that's fine. But for you, it seems to be causing a lot of stress and it seems to be causing a lot of angst.
Yeah.
So I want to try and relieve that. And I'm trying to have you understand that you have a responsibility there and you can actually affect it. You can affect change. You're smart, you're a hard worker, and this is all stuff you can control.
I don't feel like I'm just in control with it.
I think you'd be surprised. I see a lot more than that in you. So how about this? How about we try the next time you go home, when you walk in and you see a mess, how about we try not saying anything to your wife in negative fashion? Instead, you come in, you greet her, and then if you see something specifically messy, the living room, the kitchen, the bathroom, we start there. We just start doing it. You don't say anything. You don't have to explain anything. You just do it. And if for no other reason, again, to take a little bit more control over your own space and environment, and we start there.
I'm worried I'm gonna lash out though.
It's possible you might. This is a problem that's been building for a long time, but we have to try and stay in a positive frame of reference because we've seen what the negative is. We've been down that road. What we haven't tried is what I'm suggesting now, which is you taking more responsibility over your own environment and the things that are going to make you happy and relieve your stress. I'm not saying come home and clean the entire apartment every night. I'm saying pick a small part. And hopefully what that will lead to is by you leading by example, she'll start to understand how much it matters to you. Because you can say all the words you want to, but if you've never actually done the action, then she might not be taking it seriously. But if she sees it, then she might take it a little bit more seriously. Do you think that's something you could do?
Sure.
Okay, good. Okay, so we're about to wrap up here, but I just want to kind of go over a couple of things, sort of sum up a little bit. In terms of actions for this week, we want to sort of go ahead and start trying to do a little bit more exercise. Maybe 2 nights this week, just a 15-minute walk. If for no other reason than just to clear your head. And then what I'd also like you to try this week is instead of entering your environment with a negative attitude and being confrontational in a passive aggressive way. I would like you just to come in with a nice greeting, and then if you see something that needs attention, you go ahead and do it. What do you think about that?
Sure.
Okay. Well, then that's what we're going to do, and then next week we'll sit down, we'll see how it goes, how it went, and then we can adjust from there if we need to. Okay?
Alright.
All right. Well, thanks very much for coming in, Brandon. I appreciate your time, and we'll get there.
Okay.
Okay?